He said, I'll tell you, this is what I do. I've created a website which is like the Amazon, but for chemical compounds. So I said, what do you mean? He said, this is the idea. There are lots and lots of PhD students and professors in universities all over the world doing research into new chemical compounds. And most of the research is theoretical to begin with. And then when they have an idea, they acquire the elements, the chemical elements, and try and create the compound. And since a lot of these compounds are very complicated, they involve lots and lots of different elements. Well, I worked out that rather than get 24 elements and put them together, there are other researchers who've probably made part of your compound already. So you could say, I'm looking to make up this compound. And these researchers have, sitting in a test tube on the shelf in their laboratory, most of that compound. And they'll sell it to you. So my idea was a website, and I needed it to represent quality. And so I went to Oxford and I got some chemistry dons, professors in Oxford, to be the front of this and to check the quality of what's going on. I got a web designer in Morocco to make the website. And it needed to make money, so it has a function in the back of the website which collects everybody's credit card details and so forth. And I just set it up. And now chemistry students, professors, researchers around the world go, I'm looking for this. They go on this, advertise what they're looking for. Someone says, I've got it. They sell it for a small amount of money. I do no work, and it just generates income steadily because it's going. And he lives in Lithuania. This is happening all over the world. Now, I think that's very typical of the kinds of jobs that are being created. It's about an idea, and you then assembling the parts of your idea and putting it out there. You can be anywhere in the world. And actually, one of the most optimistic things for the future is that you can be in Lublin. You don't have to be anywhere else now. The model of the 20th century economy was based on capital, and you needed to be a big company in a big place which had a lot of money to build a big factory and do things. It's not how you make money anymore. You can be anywhere. It's about the quality of your ideas. And the question is, how do you develop those skills that allow people to be like that? Well, the skills that we think are necessary, we think are being very imaginative and having lots of ideas. That's very obvious. But also it's the ability to take confident decisions, the ability to take risks and manage them effectively, to ask challenging questions, to always be asking, why do we do it this way? Why do we do it another way? So forth. To be emotionally literate, sensitive, work in teams, to be able to spot surprises, and above all to be resilient, which is that when it all goes wrong, you don't mind, you come back again, and you've got the confidence to do it again. And to be able to reflect critically on what you're doing. Now, I sit on a European Union committee which is looking at the relationship between culture and education. And we had a presentation from education officials at the European Union the other day. This was about 6 months ago. And they've just done a project where they've looked at all the education systems in the whole of Europe. And they said they can be summed up like this. Every education system is now trying to teach the same curriculum. You want to teach your children the mother tongue, want to teach them some foreign languages, maths and science, digital information technology, how to learn, your social and civic responsibilities, entrepreneurship, and some arts. Everybody's trying to do that. But what they've all realized is success in that curriculum is dependent on developing those skills, which is the ability to think critically, creatively, to take the initiative, to problem solve, take risks, manage feelings and so forth. And you can see that actually it's the same set of skills that we're talking about up here. So no, that's what it is. Those are what the European Union calls the competencies that underpin success. And not only do they help you study those subjects, but they actually give you the skills that are necessary to be the inventive creator of your own jobs in the future. We did an exercise about 3 years ago where we got the team leaders who run our Creative Partnerships program from around the country together. And we said to them, we've been working on unlocking creativity in schools now for a while. How would you describe those schools that you think are very successful at unlocking creativity in young people? And we did one of those exercises where we all come up with words and we write them up on the flip charts. And the words that we came up with were that those schools who were good at unlocking creativity were very imaginative, they were confident decision makers, they were good at taking and managing risks, they were full of questions, they were always asking questions, they had lots of ideas, they were emotionally intelligent, they were persistent and resilient, and so forth. And we thought, well, these are the same words that we use to describe the skills we're trying to develop in young people. So we think the schools are like that. Is this a coincidence? And our argument is it's not a coincidence. And the reason it's not a coincidence is because you go to school to get three things. You go there to get more knowledge, but there's now so much knowledge out there that no amount of knowledge school can tell you is going to be able to fill that space up. But you do go there to get knowledge. You go there to acquire skills, like how to play a musical instrument, how to draw, and so on and so forth. But you go there to learn behaviours. And these are behaviours. And I can teach you skills by, like playing the violin. Listen how you watch, you do it, and then you'll know that's how to play the violin. And I can give you books to read so you acquire knowledge. But behaviour is learnt by imitation. And that's absolutely key. And I think that's what this was showing us about schools. That schools that unlock creativity in young people behave creatively themselves. The teachers in the classrooms behave creatively, and the children begin to imitate that. So if you want to unlock creativity in young people, you have to get the adults around them to behave creatively. And for a lot of schools and a lot of teachers, that's a very big challenge. And it means being very different from how they are at the moment. But if the future economy of your country absolutely depends on your young people developing those schools, then education is going to have to find a way to behave creatively in everything it does, because that's the only way you're going to unlock it in young people. I'll talk a bit about it. I'll give you some examples, if you like, of how this works and why, to begin with, the arts are very important in developing creativity. This is a project from a primary school which is working with 5-year-olds in England. And it's an artist who's coming in. And the artist is getting the children to draw self-portraits. So the artist comes in the first day and he says to all the children, draw a portrait of yourself. And after about 5 minutes, everybody's drawn a portrait. This is the portrait drawn by Riley, so something. And as you can see, Riley's very proud of his teeth at